Hello, hello, Otafest podcast listeners. This is the Otafest podcast that you're listening to, and you are listening to Angelo and Jay and Nancy on the Otafest podcast.
Hello.
Otafest 2022 early bird tickets are now available. Head to otafest.com for all of the details.
Quick reminder that Otafest 2022 will be a 2-day event rather than our traditional 3-day event. In keeping the interests of everyone's health, we will be requiring that all attendees have masks, and we will be checking for vaccination status.
Panel applications are now open. Game shows, discussions, professing your love for your waifu with an 8-hour block dedicated directly to talking about her. Become a part of the convention at otafest.com/panelists.
Husbandos need not apply.
Wow,
no.
rude.
Husbandos get their own
No.
section.
Husbandos get their own wing
Husbandos
of the convention hall.
Can create their own panel.
Have you
Angelo's here
seen
for
that
the
new
waifu.
Genshin husbando? That Ito guy?
Oh, I
Doesn't
have.
he have abs that you can grate cheese off of?
Yes, and he's not even JFK, which makes it even better.
Husbando,
JF what?
Genshin.
It's a Clone High joke. Don't worry about it.
Oh my god.
Did you not remember Clone High?
Well, no, I know Clone High. I didn't realize that joke was made in Clone High, but I'm just surprised you were actually talking about that JFK. I was like, is there some other
Chowder.
Oh yes.
thing?
My
that
abs are so
JFK
firm you
play
could grate
Genshin.
cheese on them. That is a
I
thing.
love gotcha. Roll it for me. Roll it.
Say what?
Say what?
Say what?
Say what?
Say what?
Clam chowder.
Anyway, so like Clone High stuff aside, that was like a fantastic era of like Adult Swim cartoons.
It really
oh my
is.
Goodness.
Oh
I
my
miss
god.
it so much.
Oh, what was it? Clone High, Mission Hill. What else was going on at that point in time?
Undergrads.
Undergrads. That's what it
Undergrads.
was.
Oh my god.
Undergrads.
Oh my god. Triceratops ravioli.
Hey guys.
Hey. Hey. Oh my god. Wow. I haven't thought of undergrads in probably a decade.
And how? You know, this has been a really good spree of episodes where I remind you of stuff that happened over 10 years ago.
Why are you making me feel old?
Not sure
Why
how
are
I
we
feel
all
about
growing
this.
old?
We are
Why
all
does
growing
time
up.
flow through the hourglass like grains of sand through the hourglass?
Like the grains of
Like
sand I'll be
time.
counting while the Steam Deck is delayed.
Yep. That's true. That's true. Time
2
keeps
whole
moving
months.
forward. Steam Deck is still 3 months away.
All right. So we talked about this earlier. We did talk about is it worth getting the pre-order? And if I remember right, the pre-order was only like $5 or something.
Yeah, it's $5. That's completely refundable to your Steam wallet if you don't want it.
So do you think anyone
it's like
will
a
cancel?
reservation. Oh, absolutely.
You seriously think people will cancel?
Yeah.
Ouch.
I'm gonna No, I don't know if I'm gonna cancel yet, but I lean more and more towards it because I'm like, it's not an impatience thing. I do not need the Steam Deck. I am
Are you
way
coming up
beyond someone
upon-
who needs another gaming computer. So far away.
Are you coming up upon advanced, early, like buyer's remorse here?
No, I just care less and less. I'm one of those people, like, you know how people have I don't know, you want to say like cravings, or they get like really hooked into a product by marketing, and they have the opposite of buyer's remorse, but they actually really want something. I am the opposite of that, like all the time. I can talk myself out of buying anything at any time. Not financially driven either. It's
dinner?
just like, I'm just like,
Why?
I do not
I
care.
understand the concept of dinner, but do I really want to? I mean, I would have to cook it. I would, you know what?
You have
Might
to
as well
prep
not even bother.
it.
It's true. To a certain extent,
true.
that is part of it as well.
So I'm pretty good at talking myself out of buying stuff too. Like, it literally just happened yesterday. I saw a sweater. I thought it was really cute. And I was like, I need more sweaters. It's really cold in the house. And then I thought better of it. And I was like, no, you know what? I already have enough sweaters. I'm good.
I can very easily talk myself into a purchase that I never intend to actually go through with.
That also happens.
But I still do intend to get the Steam Deck. I still think it'll be very interesting and nice. I almost kind of want it from like a collector's point of view, where it's like, you know what? Yes, it will be. It's not going to be anywhere near as powerful as my gaming PC. There are a very limited number of things that I will actually want it for, but the few games that I would actually want to play with it would probably be really great on it. And all things considered, Valve hardware is just interesting.
Do you have any other items of theirs in your Valve museum,
Just
Ben?
buy a Nintendo Virtual Boy or a Sega Dreamcast if you really need to.
I would love to have a Virtual Boy. Mario Tennis on that was amazing.
Heck yeah.
I never got to play with one. I didn't know anyone rich enough who had one.
My cousin had one.
Wow.
But I actually don't have any other Valve hardware, and that's kind of why I want it.
So you don't have like the Valve controller?
I missed out on the Steam Link. I missed out on the controller.
One of my friends actually had the controller. When they started liquidating the controllers, I believe the price was like crazy low. They were like $5 or 25. Yeah, they were like,
Steam Link.
Get them out of here. We don't want you.
Literally, by the time I heard about it, they were all sold out.
Yeah,
I seriously wanted to buy like 2.
I wanted to try it. I thought the touchpad idea was interesting.
Games.
And like the HTC Vive, it wasn't exactly Steam developed, but it was like a partnership between HTC and Valve. I actually do have that, and I enjoy it thoroughly.
But yeah,
it is very nice. And so I just think, you know what? I've wanted small pocket-sized computers before, like the GPD Win computers have always appealed to me. The Valve Steam Deck is probably one of the most interesting ones that will be available for quite a while.
I'm thinking of canceling my Steam Deck, and I've talked about this before because I am leaning more and more seriously towards getting another Switch. So
yeah, that's fair.
And at that point, like, it just makes sense because the Switch games are exclusive to the Switch, whereas the Steam Deck is me buying another computer to play my computer games on when I have a perfectly functioning computer already.
Yeah, but you can be like 10 feet away from your computer. You know what you would have to do to accomplish that otherwise? A wireless mouse and keyboard. And that's just disgusting.
Wireless mice and keyboards still are not as fast as I need them to be to suit the response time that I am used to.
On top of that, just try getting a good wireless mechanical keyboard. They don't exist.
I just hate the idea of my battery dying during games.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Like I say
not
this,
that it doesn't happen.
I have a wireless mouse that I actually do like, the Logitech G703.
Oh yeah.
And I like it enough to the point where I have had to disassemble it and resolder switches instead of buying a new one.
We talked about this.
And so, like, yeah, you know what? Wireless mice, okay. But a wireless keyboard can get fucked. The only instance where I would actually want a wireless keyboard would be for, like, a media center PC, something that's hooked up to my TV.
Something headless-ish.
Yeah, exactly. And at least in that case, it makes sense because it's not the performance of the keyboard you're looking for. You're just looking for any kind of text input device. But, yeah, wireless keyboards on my main PC? No. Disgusting.
Disgusting. Get this filth out of here.
Speaking of...
I will use the Steam Deck to wirelessly stream games from my desktop to the Steam Deck. And then I'll be like, at least the lag is because I'm transmitting a high-definition video over the network.
And
going back
controller
to,
input as well.
Buying stuff, Are you guys going to keep an eye out for anything for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that kind of thing?
I am thinking about getting a laptop for my parents.
Oh, yeah.
My parents have a rather ancient one at the moment, and I would like it if they didn't have to deal with it being so incredibly ancient and slow.
Like, what do they use it for, out of curiosity?
Like, exactly what you probably think that they do. Like, they watch videos, they surf the internet, they go watch news, that sort of thing. It's not something that's technically, like, processor heavy, and it's not something that's graphically demanding. But I would get them something reasonably mid-high tier so that they won't have to replace this for 10 years.
I mean, at this point, let's be real. Loading up 2 tabs of Facebook probably uses more resource than processing all of the all of the raw data received from Mars rovers over the course of the last 10 years.
The internet in general, like web design, has gotten so heavy, and I hate it. But it's
awful.
Just the way it is.
It's bulky.
It's bulky, it's slow, and if your computer isn't sufficiently high in memory and probably GPU power, like sites like loading up CBC is just painful.
There was an interesting stat that came out a few years ago, and that was that the average website is now larger in size, like in download size, than the game Doom. More processor intensive too, but literally the biggest game, the AAA game, the most popular game that sold more copies than Windows 95 in 1995, Doom, is smaller than your average website.
Yeah, and it has a lot to do with all of the bootstrapping and all of the frameworks and all of this strictly unnecessary but convenient developer stuff that gets loaded up on every single website. And it's like, yeah, there are ways to minimize that, but most people just don't bother to.
Exactly.
Anyway, tangent aside, I want to find a laptop that is reasonably powerful and will last like 10 years for my parents. And that shouldn't be too hard. They're not exactly...
What if you just got them as Steam Deck instead?
Can you do everything on it? No, that's so tiny though. Can you imagine your parents just like needing their reading glasses to use the Steam Deck?
Wait, you haven't set them
I'm
up
pretty
with
sure
like
my parents use the reading glasses to read the news on a 55-inch TV.
Oh dear.
I was going to say, you haven't set them up with like a Chromecast or something so they can watch their videos on the TV instead?
Oh yeah, they do. That just depends on if they have the TV on already that has something playing on it. They multitask just like any other normal person does.
That's fair.
Anyway, I'm just saying, it doesn't have to be like a gaming laptop. I just need to find them something reasonably powerful.
That is very fair. And, it's true, like when it comes to PCs, if you get a decent, like a decently powerful laptop now, it's not unreasonable for it to be competitive with low end or even mid range offerings like 10 years later. Like my old college laptop from 2008 would be absolutely dog shit these days. But back in 2015, 2016, so like not too long ago, like 5 years ago, and realistically like 8 years after that laptop was made, it legitimately was competitive with low mid-range laptops at that point in time. And like if you had a Sandy Bridge i7 laptop, for basic web browsing and things of that nature, it would still be competitive. It would still be useful. The battery would be shot, and that's about it.
And like back in the old days, like a spare battery was relatively easy to buy.
I think it was just around 10 years ago that a lot of laptops started putting the batteries internal. Inside.
Like you can't just slide it out anymore. Yeah.
I hate that, absolutely.
And that's kind of just the direction that mobile devices like laptops and phones have gotten, right? Like, I remember, like, 3 phones ago, I could just pop the back off of my phone and pop the battery out.
Exactly. In certain cell phones, they were actually designed in such a way that during a drop, the back and the battery would be flung out as a way to release some of that energy instead of sending it into the nice fragile glass screen.
Yeah, and or the frame, or like crushing the battery and causing it to leak terrible chemicals everywhere. That's also bad.
Oh yeah, that would be horrible.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing, and we don't do that anymore. Like, I look at the MacBooks now, and they're all completely integrated. You can't open them at all.
No, they're awful. That is why I still kind of intend to get a framework laptop. Kind of. But I want devices that I can just do shit with. I still love, as ugly as it was, there were modifications for like the Note 1 and 2, and I think even the Note 3, where you could get a battery that was triple the size of the original battery, and you would have to get a new back for the phone that had this huge ass lump. It would like triple the size of the phone. It was the ugliest bullshit ever. But it would take this phone that with light use, with the original battery, would last 2.5 days, 3 days. With heavy use, would legitimately get you through the whole day. And turned it into a phone where, with heavy use, would last you 5 days to a week.
Okay. You just reminded me of something that I haven't thought about in a long time. Did you know that Google, quite a few years ago, had something called Project Ara? And Project Ara was the modular smartphone project.
Oh, that's right. That went nowhere.
It got canceled, but it was such an amazing idea. You could pick a frame, you could pick, what kind of processor you wanted in it, you could pick what kind of camera you wanted on the front and the back, you could choose larger battery sizes, there was so much you could do with it, and it looked so cool.
And it went nowhere because, unfortunately, manufacturers realized that as much as people like the idea of modular things that you can swap things out of and customize and do this, that, and the other thing,
you sacrifice too much for it.
The reality is that everyone wants a phone that's like so light that you can barely even tell it's there, even if it actually sucks, because during the sales experience, you basically get, here's a brick, or here's the latest and greatest thing ever. And everyone in that one moment, in like the 5 minutes you get to play with the phone before you decide what you want to buy, is going to be like, yeah, I want the fancy one. Mm-hmm. I don't want the one that looks like it was put together with Legos.
I mean, it still looked really cool. And even looking back at some of these photos of it, it kind of appeals to me in that sort of weird postmodern art kind of way.
Yeah, and it was a legitimately interesting looking concept.
Yeah, and I do wonder, now that you mention it, if I dropped one of those things, would it all just like fly apart into its individual components so that they each kind of had their own bit of buffering instead of just cracking the frame or something?
Entirely possible, entirely probable, and more than likely the camera module would fly off and get lodged under your fridge, and then you'd be like, well, fuck, I don't want to move the fridge. Guess I have to buy the upgraded camera module.
Oh, no.
Ugh. That little camera module would be so far away.
Yeah, you'd almost swear your cat hid it under the fridge on purpose.
Yeah. So has anyone heard of the Faraway Paladin? Also known as Saihate no Paladin.
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
We're supposed to be talking about anime.
This is an anime preview episode. It's as delayed as the Steam Deck.
You wouldn't know it, but
yes,
it was.
Yes. It's following the theme of the Steam Deck. This is the Steam Deck episode, followed by delayed previews.
The delayed episode.
Question. Is it an isekai?
It is, in fact, an isekai.
Called it.
So Saihate no Paladin, done by studio Children's Playground Entertainment, an action-adventure fantasy isekai anime. In the ruined city of the dead, far from human civilization, lives a single human child named Will. He's raised by 3 undead. Blood, the heroic skeleton warrior. Mary, the ladylike mummy priestess. And Gus, the crotchety ghost wizard. The 3 of them teach the boy what they know and pour their love into him. One day, the boy begins to wonder, who am I?
What am I?
Will uncovers the mysteries of the undead hidden in this faraway land. He learns of the love and mercy of good gods, as well as the paranoia and madness of evil gods. And once he learns it all, the boy embarks on the path to becoming a paladin. So as of recording, we're 6 episodes into this anime, and I thoroughly love it.
Really? Okay,
It's absolutely great.
Okay, so I am going to give this a shot then, because as much as I rag on isekai, sometimes I just want something good to watch. Doesn't matter if it's isekai or not.
The entire isekai portion of it is like 10 seconds long. It basically amounts to, by the way, this is an isekai. Our investors said they wouldn't give us money if we didn't say that. Although it's based on a light novel, so like obviously maybe the light novel has more isekai elements to it than the anime does. But the first few episodes are so wholesome. They're so good. The 3 undead parents are so absolutely great, and I love them all.
Aww. Okay, I could use something wholesome to watch.
I don't understand something. If he's a paladin and he's supposed to be hunting undead, isn't that just pitting him against his parents?
Yeah, sure, maybe. Okay.
Cool.
But you don't understand.
Just wanted to be that.
One's a ladylike mummy priestess.
And she's wonderful.
She's actually wonderful. Absolutely
I'm not
best
saying
girl.
she isn't.
No
I'm
question.
just saying that a paladin by any RPG factor is all like, turn undead, or
Yes, blessed by holy
against-
powers and stuff.
yeah. So
I mean, yeah, sure, okay. Watch the anime. I don't want to spoil.
You can't
No spoil.
it.
No
We're
spoil.
not done. We're not done to the show yet. You can't spoil it.
No spoil.
I know, but it's straight up, like, the animation is actually pretty good. I love the character design. It feels well paced to me. The voice acting is great. Like, I've never heard of Children's Playground Entertainment, and I looked them up to see like what the hell they've done before. They've done like barely anything, none of it that I've actually watched, and this comes out and it's just like blowing me away. It's like, it's fantastic.
All right.
That sounds great.
I'm all the way here for it. Every Saturday I wake up and I'm like, hell yeah. Paladin anime is on today. Time to go watch.
All right.
Nancy, would you like to take on the next one?
Yes, I would. The next one is called Mirukochan by Passion. I have not heard of them either. And it is a comedy/horror. Okay, so comedy horrors, that already has me. Like, that's already a hook right there. Because comedy horror is the only kind of horror that I actually enjoy watching.
Like Shaun of the Dead, kind of?
Yeah, or like, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, that sort of thing.
Oh, Tucker and Dale versus Evil is great.
Never heard.
Yeah, so that, like, comedy horror is like the only way I can get past ridiculous gore, super spoopy thing. Like, we already talked about this on the Halloween episode. We don't got to go over this again. But
Fair.
okay, so Mirukochan, she can see dead people. She just chooses to ignore them. That's Miko's plan anyway, but it doesn't seem to be working for her in this love letter to the horror genre that will send shivers down your spine and occasionally tickle your funny bone. So, okay, we're talking about standard I see dead people.
Yes.
We're talking
like
like the Bruce Willis film. I see dead people.
I feel like it's a show where like you take the standard like horror trope of like, you know, where you build up tension in this way, and then like it breaks it or it subverts it in some way and makes it funny instead. That's what I'm hoping for.
I actually really enjoy the I'm so over this mood and like approach to things like this, because it's like I can see dead people, and then, you know, that's a pretty good hook to talk about plot wise, because there've been tons of anime series before that were like, oh, I see dead people and I help the ghosts move on. It is my duty. And then there's like a whole lot of backstory behind it. Or I see dead people and I make them my friends because I'm a lonely person in the world or something. But like I see dead people, but I'm really over this, so I'm just going to ignore it.
So I have watched a couple episodes of this one. She is absolutely terrified of all the ghost things, and she is always desperately trying to figure out some way to like ward them off.
Aww.
I think I might have seen the manga for this. I think I might have read a few pages of the manga for this, which if it is the one that I'm thinking of, it's pretty funny, because if the main character is the one who's like scared all the time, but she just desperately either tries to hide it or she like tries to make them go away somehow, but like does it in like weird ways, and other people who legitimately, you know, are not sensitive to the other world, they're just kind of like, what is happening? And she's just...
That's kind of what it's like.
Yeah. But it's also, I think it's a little morbid sometimes, but that's okay.
Is it?
Well,
so
what I saw,
I actually really like the ghost design in it. They look legit. They feel legitimately unnerving. Not exactly in like a Junji Ito way, but in a very much, this looks like something that I should be afraid of, given the context of the world. Having that said, there are certain things that I feel like it falls flat on, which is why, like I said, I only watched a few episodes of it. My biggest problem with it is that, this character just stopping, pretending not to notice, and internally monologuing about how scared she is feels like it gets old really fast. Maybe maybe after episode 3, something else happens.
Else?
Maybe. Like I stopped watching after 3 episodes, and I was just like, this is very well done, but it feels very one note.
I just double checked. I'm pretty sure I have read some of the manga for this, because the art for the undead or the ghosts or whatever you want to call them, they're actually like terrifying. But it's I get the approach. I think it's fun.
It was great to watch during October.
Only during October.
Only during October, the month of spoop.
Spoopy month.
Spoopy tolerance
spoopy.
month. Spoopiness exists in all months, but you only tolerate in October if you
It's
are
spoopy awareness month.
If you are baby.
Exactly.
That's okay.
Exactly.
I would probably tell you to watch it as well, because I enjoyed the manga that I read. I never finished it, but it was fun.
Yay.
I'd give it a go.
I guess the next show we have is Komi-san wa Komyushu desu, which is Komi Can't Communicate, by a studio named OLM, which I do not recognize. And it is the comedy and the romance. Timid Tadano is a total wallflower, and that's just the way he likes it. But all that changes when he finds himself alone in a classroom on the first day of high school with the legendary Komi. He quickly realizes she isn't aloof. She's just super awkward. Now he's made it his mission to help her on her quest to make 100 friends.
100 friends is a lot.
That's like
Maybe
60% of what the average person knows people in general. But all things considered, I haven't watched this yet. I legitimately haven't watched this, but I've seen so many manga pages and manga panels from it, and it looks absolutely adorable that I it's one of those anime that I just want to like keep in my pocket for a rainy day.
I think
And
I
one day
also
I'll just
have
like
read.
I'll pull it out
few pages.
and I'll be like, "Oh, look at this! I think it's time." for Komi to
I think it's
communicate."
time. Do you have a backlog of rainy day anime series?
One of them is Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Oh my goodness, that's
One of these days,
that's
I'm going to want a really good, epic space opera, and I'm just keeping Legend of the Galactic Heroes in my back pocket for that day.
I'm just gonna tell you that Production IG did an amazing job on that like remake of that series. But holy cow, of the 2 seasons they currently have, I am still disentangling all of my feelings. That show makes you feel things.
I didn't even realize Production IG was remaking it at all.
Oh, they did.
I didn't know. All I know is that there was like the like 100 episode long anime series from however long ago, and there were several movies. And a lot of people can't decide on what order you should be watching them in. So it's just like when I feel like when people can't decide on the order, instead of being like, "Oh, we have to like research all the possible orders and decide," no, just watch it in broadcast order.
Yeah, you could. Just watch it in the order that you have it listed in numbers.
Going back
But
to
still-
the actual anime, though, why did
I
you
want to keep
suggest
Komi-san in my pocket because it looks cute.
Might be cute.
And it sounds, yeah. This is the impression that I get about Komi-san is it's that anime that you start watching and then you're like, wait a minute, this anime is about me. Oh, kind of like the first time you watched Welcome to the NHK.
Oh, whoop.
It's that kind of thing where almost any weeb who watches it, they're going to feel like there's a part of themselves in the main character that either they like or don't like or find interesting to see another character going through.
So what you're saying is that it's going to be ridiculously easy to relate to.
I think so. And it's going to be like that in a cute way, in a cute, awkward way, instead of something like Welcome to the NHK, where it's in a depressing way. Or what was that other anime? I can't remember the Japanese name for it, but the one anime where it's like, no matter which way I look at it, it's your guys' fault I'm unpopular. The one with like the short black-haired girl who's really, really embarrassing, and you're watching it and you're just feeling secondhand embarrassment so hard. I couldn't finish that anime.
That sounds
I
like a
couldn't finish that anime
terrible,
because the
terrible show.
secondhand embarrassment was so strong.
Oh, yikes.
Oh my god. Oh.
The brutality.
But anime that can make you feel that way, that's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, even if they're not like a work of art, to be able to have that kind of emotional resonance is just, that takes skill.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And that's, I'm talking it up and I haven't even watched the anime and I'm just like, yeah, this is what I expect out of this anime. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm really hyping up this anime that I just want to keep in my back pocket for like a rainy day.
Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's worth your rainy day.
Your rainy day fund of anime.
Yeah. It's for special times when you're just like, I don't want to commit to a story I already know is ongoing. I just need something new and light and whatever. I totally get it.
Something that will
true.
make you feel feelings.
Yeah. Something that makes your heart go doki
Awkward
doki.
feelings, according to the synopsis.
Awkward feelings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Moving on. What else do we
Man.
have?
Speaking of something else that makes you feel feelings. Oh my god. Warning, this next one's not technically anime,
Get out of here.
but we're going to be talking about Arcane. Arcane, the League of Legends anime, but not anime, by Fortiche Productions and Riot Games. Based on the world behind League of Legends, Arcane dives into the delicate balance between the rich, utopian city of Piltover. Piltover in the seedy, oppressed underground of Zon. Known across Runeterra as the City of Progress, many of the most brilliant minds call these cities home. But the creation of Hextech, a way for any person to control magical energy, threatens that balance. The story follows the origins of two iconic League champions and the power that will tear them apart. So, this is going on. It's on Netflix. They're doing 3 episodes per week. So episodes 4, 5, and 6 came out today. We're recording on Saturday, by the way. And good lord. The first 3 episodes I watched with Dio and a bunch of her friends in Discord. And I don't think there was a dry eye in the whole Discord call.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay.
So it follows the relationship between Vi and Jinx. If I don't play League of Legends,
I know nothing
but
about
I know
League.
certain characters.
I know
so
nothing.
Vi is the red-haired lady cop with the huge punchy fists.
Mm-hmm.
Huge
And
punchy
Jinx,
fists.
the huge punchy fists.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And Jinx is the blue-haired yandere that with all the splodies, with all the bombs, who had
Okay.
the really cool music video like a decade ago.
Now I need to look this up.
Apparently they're sisters.
Oh, cool.
And you have to be like, how does a cop and some terrorist, how does that happen? How does one family produce those two things? And we're learning. And it's sad. Oh my god. But
Okay.
I played League way back in high school, way back when it first came out. And I remember these characters, but I did not really follow the lore of League. I might have played in a time where the lore wasn't really a big focus yet, because in the time that I haven't played, they've definitely remade a lot of characters and retconned a few things. So I can't say
Dio
that
keeps
I know
telling
a lot.
me about things that they've slipped into the lore like 3 or 4 years ago that are kind of like hinting at these relationships. And based on like on some of the interviews that have done, they've been working on this show for like 5 years. So a lot of like the character rewrites that have happened, a lot of like the new voices that they've added, the new voice lines and stuff, there's small little tidbits that people are like, wait a minute, is this related to these two? Is this person this other person that was in lore that like magic bullshit happened to? Oh my god. And like it's just kind of cute and fun to watch all these other people really enjoy themselves, like piecing it all together. I don't know. Like I really do. I legitimately enjoy the show so far, but it's clearly something where they've put so much extra into it for fans of League that I like it, but League of Legends fans really freaking like it.
That's good though. That's like, for once, a video game movie or a series isn't total.
It's a video
crap.
game adaptation that's good.
But I mean, they are
Gas.
also.
That doesn't
it's technically-
happen.
It is technically like a first party creation, whereas a lot of the times we talk about like video game movies or adaptations in general tend to be third party in some sense. So
And to be fair, like usually a video game adaptation anime, they're trying to adapt a story that already exists. Whereas in this, it's more like they have characters that exist. They have loose relationships. There's no story at all otherwise that's public. So they get to present something completely new and fresh to everyone.
how many episodes are there?
So there's 6 so far. I think there's going to be 12.
Okay.
Like,
Oh, they're
I
keeping it
think,
reasonably lengthed.
yeah, I think we have 2 more weeks of episode
How
releases.
long's per episode? I'm assuming an hour.
No, it is about 35 minutes per episode,
Okay.
give or take.
All right.
So not your standard 20-minute episodes, not your 1-hour episodes, but it's
Well,
very
the other
manageable.
format is a 40 minutes episode, which 40-minute episodes don't really exist as often because a 40-minute episode is essentially a special time format where, like, you know, there's lots of content involved, but there's also like supposed to be room for like ad breaks and things like that normally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember back when I was watching Vikings, I think it was, and I was like, the episodes are 40 minutes long.
Mhm.
I wonder why. And then it hit me. It's like, oh, because it's a 1-hour block. So
Yes.
freaking 30% of the time is literally ads.
exactly, all bow down.
And now that I think about it, anime is like 20 to 22 minutes long. So out of a 30-minute block, again, 30% of it is ads.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You know what?
How sad is that?
TV kind of makes sense. I hate it.
Yeah.
It makes especially less sense as a format when, for example, Arcane is direct to Netflix, which doesn't do ads in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So why am I getting this format of show? Give me an hour or give me 30 minutes or give me some sort of like, you know, sensible time format for these things. But hey, I don't have anything to say because I haven't played League in a long time. I know of these characters peripherally, but as long as the people who are into law, like, which is so many people, are having fun with it, what's there to not love, right?
It's legitimately a very well animated, well arted, like the character designs, the world building, the character voicing, like the everything about it is exceptionally well done.
How's the music?
Like it's great.
I assume there's music.
Like they got Imagine Dragons to write the opening. They got a lot of the other like League of Legends songs. Sometimes this is an insert song. It's just they took 5 years to make a 12-episode thing, and it feels like it.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put a lot of time and effort into it, and I feel like it's paying off. Speaking of paying off, how much did Disney have to shake down all the anime studios to do Star Wars rights?
Who knows? But
Billions
Star Wars
and
Visions
billions
was
and billions
super
and
well
billions.
executed.
Yes. Star Wars Visions was absolutely... It came kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
For anyone who is not aware of it, Star Wars Visions is kind of like a compilation of a bunch of Star Wars short stories by a bunch of different animation studios. So you got like Studio Trigger, you got Production IG in there. I think you got some Sunrise going on. A whole bunch of different animation styles.
There were a few studios I'd never heard of.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's basically a bunch of studios coming together to be like, this is what our studio is about in Star Wars form. It felt very animatrix-y in that way, in the way that it was packaged.
Very much so. Because it was a bunch of short stories. They're not related in any way to, like, I guess unlike the Animatrix, a lot of things that they talk about, like, these are all characters that, you know, they don't appear in the novels. They don't appear in or are referenced by any of the mainline Star Wars films or other franchises that they do. But it was just little moments. Really, really well told and animated little moments. And I think Studio Trigger was the only one to do 2. Everyone else got 1.
I believe you are right about that. But the one that Studio Trigger did, the twins,
So
short
good.
was just
So good.
It basically starred Leo Fotia from Promare in a Han Solo type of role.
Yeah.
And what was the blonde girl from Kill la Kill? The one with the eye patch. I can't remember her name. But she was a Sith Lord.
Yes. Yes, basically. But
and they fought with lightsabers.
They did. And there were 2 Star Destroyers glued together?
That's right, because it was all about like how they were twins, and it was this super Star Destroyer that was supposed to harness the power of these Force-sensitive twins or something of that nature.
Something like that. But whatever
but
the
Han
case...
Solo twin was like, no, fuck you.
Well, whatever the case, it was 100% this is Trigger. This is exactly a story Trigger would tell given this setting.
Oh, yeah. And when the girl was like, oh, you have 1 lightsaber? How quaint. Oh, I was pushing you back with 2 lightsabers. Oh, you thought I was fighting with my full power? What if I had 10 lightsabers?
Okay, by the way, so because this is Disney, all of them were also dubbed in English if you do want to watch in English. But I didn't. I watched it all in Japanese. That was the only episode I went back to see who the English cast was. And you would not guess who the English cast was for the twins.
Stephanie Beard.
Nope.
Was it Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen?
No, but that would have been hilarious.
I don't know any other twins.
Do you either of you, have you watched Community?
I actually have not.
I have watched it, but you assume that I have a memory for anything.
Okay, well, Alison Brie was also in BoJack.
But she's not a twin.
She's not a twin.
I mean,
but
you don't
she was
have
one
to
of
be
them.
a twin to voice
Yes,
a twin
you
in an anime.
do.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
I love that your dedication
100%.
to the lies of humanity go. But
Are you
Alison
telling
Brie
me?
was one of them. And then our dear
So it's
Han
Alison
Solo.
Brie.
Our dear Han Solo was Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh my god.
Interesting.
My
Neil
mind was
He wasn't
blown.
into
I was
it
like,
Hauser
either.
did. Oh
and
my
he's
god.
also not a
I
twin.
know. And they did great in that little bit of the English
I
that I saw.
Go listen to it now.
It was very fun. The thing that you'll notice first is that the audio balancing for the Japanese audio was much better. I found the English one very difficult to hear.
Okay, that's fair.
But anyway, full force of Disney level casting of people. So I shouldn't be surprised that there were a lot of very good names in the English casting, but yeah, really well
here's
done.
The thing.
Like
when Disney knocks on your door,
and says, "I need you to be."
Yeah, I don't know who you are that you can say no. And then if Disney knocks on your door again and says, "This is Disney, I need you for Star Wars."
You don't say no.
Knocks.
I don't know
Disney
who you
doesn't
are to
cannot
think
say
that you
no.
can say no. I'm not even talking about money or necessarily prestige, because I'm assuming they already approach people with prestige
Also,
in a sense.
let's be real.
But they would have people who really know what they're doing, and they're gonna put together a cast that you would want to work with,
On top of that, as a professional animator, especially a professional animator in Japan, when are you ever going to be able to work on a Star Wars property?
Right?
Or Disney property.
The reality is the chances of it happening are so incredibly slim. This came out of left field for I feel like everyone. But it's great. It's just super good. All of them are unique and worth a watch.
Yes. And honestly, I find the stories much more interesting than anything in recent Star Wars fame.
It was better than Rogue One and Solo.
I will shake you to
It was
death.
just more interesting. I don't actually care about the main cast of Star Wars very much. I don't have a whole lot of attachment to them. I find these stories that take place out in the far reaches and some of these were heavily implied to have taken place in, like, you know, very far in the distant past and possibly very far in the distant future, like in terms of that, you know, main trilogies timeline type thing. And it was a very interesting time. It was a very interesting experience to see these parts of the Star Wars universe, not the main trilogies and what they tell.
Yeah.
All right. We have committed our contractual obligation to talk about anime. Therefore, we shall end this episode and not talk about anime again for many episodes more.
One episode.
True. When we do the review.
I mean, it's not like we're
nope,
podcast
never
about
heard of
an anime
them.
convention or
Nope.
something. No.
Never heard of Otafest.
Don't forget to buy your tickets.
Oh, that's the name of the podcast. Roll credits.